Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. It's Tuesday, time to talk about some new releases coming out this Friday, October 27th. There's a little over 550 albums coming out this week. I got 14 on my list for today. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you go check them out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist that we put together every week, and the Patreon page. Make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. Like I said in the intro, there's a little over 550 albums coming out this week. I'm only going to talk about 14 on the show today, so if there's something I don't talk about, make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to picking up. And like always, if you're unable to find any of these in your local brick and mortar stores, they're all available online. I'll put links down below, down in the comments. What I've been doing over the last couple of weeks is doing like an expanded list. So I'll put the 14 albums I talk about today, plus probably another 20 to 30 other albums that all look pretty interesting this week. There's a couple of big box sets coming out this week. The first one is Nirvana in Utero, first released back in 1993. It was their third and final studio album. I know some people think it was their fourth album, but technically Incesticide is a compilation album, so it's not really a studio release. There's two different versions that's going to be available. There's a big super deluxe box set. It's got 8 LPs in there. It's going to run you $325 online. And then there's also a 1 LP, 1 10-inch release that's going to run you around $46. So both releases have B-sides and bonus tracks on there. That's what the 10-inch is with the single LP. And then the big box set has two full concerts on there. I think neither one of them have ever been released. There's a live show from LA in 93, and then there's a Seattle show from 1994. So it's kind of cool, but you know, for the price difference between the two, I probably don't listen to live shows all that much. I do have a couple of Nirvana live albums. And really, outside of their Unplugged album, I don't really listen to the other live stuff all that much. So I'll probably just stream the live shows and grab the 1 10-inch and 1 LP release. I will say that the big box set comes in this really nice deluxe slipcase. It looks really cool, but it also has a bunch of stuff that, you know, I'll probably flip through once and never really look at again. It's got a 48-page book in there. There's a fanzine. There's gig posters. There's flyers. There's laminates. There's replica backstage passes. Like I said, a lot of stuff that a lot of these other box sets are coming with. But, you know, for that couple $100 price difference, I'll probably, like I said, just go with that one LP release. Even though I already have a copy of the album, you know, I'll grab this new one just because it's remastered. I like to hear the difference between the releases. And you also got Motley Crue releasing the Shout of the Devil box set this week. First released back in 1983. It was their second studio album, celebrating its 40th anniversary. This one's going to run you about $200 online. There's some cool stuff included in here. You know, there's also a lot of stuff that I kind of call junk that, you know, I think they could have saved themselves some money not putting the box set. But it's all newly remastered. You get the album on orange and yellow splatter vinyl, and then there's a demos and rarities album on red and white splatter. It comes with a CD, comes with a cassette. There's also 2 7-inch releases in here. You know, that's the stuff that people really care about. Had they saved, you know, like I said, $50-$60 on this box set, they probably would sell more of them. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people really love the other stuff that's included in here. You get a 7-inch adapter, which at least that's kind of functional, but there's also like a felt bag in here. There's devil candle holders. There's tarot cards. There's a Ouija board. There's, you know, lithographs. There's stuff that a lot of people really would just like probably look at it one time and then put it back in the box and never look at it again. That's the thing I really love about what Van Halen did with the Collection 2 box set. They could have easily charged over $200 for that thing, but they decided to keep it nice and simple. It was just about the music. There wasn't any fluff that was included in that box set. And, you know, they were able to keep it, you know, $100 to $120, which I think is a great price for what you got in that box set. You know, as much as I love Shout of the Devil, you know, had it been, you know, maybe that $120 to $140 price range, I might consider picking it up. But $200, you know, I think it's a lot. Like I said, you're only getting the album and then some demo stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll grab it if I can get it on sale somewhere. So we're finally getting the new album from Black Pumas coming out this week. This is Chronicles of a Diamond. It's their second studio album. There's multiple variants are going to be available. I want to say there's at least 10 to maybe 15 different versions I've seen across a bunch of different websites. It's going to run about $26 online. They're a really interesting band. When their debut album came out back in 2019, I absolutely loved it. It's been one of my favorite albums of the last few years. But this has got this really cool sound where it's like soul mixed with jazz and pop and funk and alternative and kind of all blended in together. It's a really interesting album. They've released 3 singles off the new album so far. I've only listened to the first one. It sounds like a continuation of what they did on their debut album, so definitely interested in grabbing a copy of that this week. And then you've also got another big box set coming out. This is Prince, Diamonds and Pearls, released back in 1991. It was Prince's 13th studio album. This is his first album that he did with New Power Generation, which was the new band he put together in the early part of the 90s. There's a bunch of different versions of this going to be available. There's a 2 LP sets on Milky Clear or Milky White vinyl. It's going to run you about $40 online. Then there's a 4 LP set that's going to run you around $70. And then there's this big, gigantic 12 LP set that's going to run you around $350. But where it kind of differs from that Nirvana and Motley Crue box set is there's a ton of unreleased material that they're included in this box set. Obviously, $350 is still a lot for a single album box set. Like when I say single album, it's just Diamonds and Pearls. There's not a bunch of other stuff, other albums included in there. So the 4 LP set has 15 remastered single mixes and edits. So you got 28 tracks total across the 4 LPs, which $70. I think that's probably a good deal. What you're getting in there, I think you're getting a good collection of unreleased stuff on there. And then that big 12 LP set includes 33 unreleased studio recordings. It's got 14 unreleased live tracks. It comes with a Blu-ray with 3 live shows. It's got a 120-page book, all housed in a big deluxe box set. If you're a Prince fan, like I said, $350 is still a lot to drop on a box set. But when you consider that, compare that to that In Utero box set, where you're just getting the album, so a few demos and singles, B-sides, and then 2 live shows, and you compare that to what you're getting in that Diamonds and Pearls box set, which is roughly around the same price, you can see where it differs. The next album is one I'm sure is going to sell an absolute ton this week. This is Taylor Swift, 1989, Taylor's version. The original album was released back in 2014. It was her 5th studio album, and this is the 4th re-recorded album in the series that she's been doing over the last couple of years. It's going to run you about $40 online. There is 5 different versions of this album that's going to be available. There's a Target exclusive, and then there's 4 different color and cover variants that were all sold through her website. I'm not sure what's going to be available in stores. So you get to the original 16 tracks, and then there's 5 unreleased tracks that were all part of the original recording sessions but never made the original release. I've always enjoyed going back and checking these out because I think she does a great job with re-recording these albums. I enjoy a lot of the unreleased stuff that she includes on there. And 1989 is an album that, at least in my opinion, is probably one of the best pop albums of the 2000s. It's a great album from beginning to end, so it's definitely one I'm looking forward to checking out this week. And then the next album is one that I was initially excited for, and then the more I kind of read into it, it's one that I've decided to kind of hold off on pre-ordering, and at least I'll stream it this week and check it out. But it's the new album from Duran, Danse Macabre. It's their 16th studio album. It's running about $40 online. So they kind of went back and they recorded a few new tracks, and then they kind of re-recorded some of their older stuff, and then they did some cover tracks on here also. So it's kind of a mixture of a lot of different stuff. But you got covers on here by Billie Eilish, Talking Heads, Rolling Stones, The Vandals. They picked some great songs to go back through and cover. But like I said, it's one that I'll hold off on buying it until I can stream it and check it out. The next album is part of the Atlantic 75 series, where Atlantic Records is going back in celebration of their 75th anniversary and reissuing some of their best-known albums. This week you got Led Zeppelin IV coming out, released back in 1971. Of course, it was Led Zeppelin's 4th studio album. It's going to be on clear vinyl. It's going to run you about $28 online. In my opinion, easily one of the best albums of all time. I absolutely love this album. It's an album that's really known for Stairway to Heaven, even though I think there's better tracks on the album, namely When the Levee Breaks, easily one of my favorite Led Zeppelin tracks. I've already got a copy of it, so I'll probably pass on this one. But for, like I said, $28, I think it's a great deal if you don't have a copy of it. And then you got Journey Frontiers coming out this week. This was released back in 1983. It was their 8th studio album, celebrating its 40th anniversary. It's going to run you about $30 online. I can say, this was released in 83, so it's probably been 35 years probably since I've listened to Frontiers. I know a lot of people love this album, but it's definitely one I need to go back through and check out again. But this is all newly remastered from the original analog tapes. So this does include some bonus content that isn't just the standard album. You get a 7-inch that comes along with this. It's got, on one side it has remixes, new remixes of Only the Young and Separate Ways. And on the B side, it has original versions of Only the Young and Ask the Lonely. I guess both of those tracks were supposed to be on the original album, but got cut due to time constraints. So it's kind of cool that they're adding some additional stuff in here. It's a huge album when it came out. I mean, it hit number 2 on the Billboard charts, sold over 6 million copies here in the U.S. But like I said, it's one I haven't listened to in a long time. I need to go back through and check it out. So this week you got a pretty interesting album coming out from Christina Aguilera. This is Aguilera, released last year in 2022. It was her 9th studio album. It's her 2nd Spanish language album, which I didn't even know she had released one previously, like way back, I think it was 2000 when the first one came out, so 20 plus years ago. This one's a double LP. It's on red vinyl. It's going to run you about $30 online. It was a huge album when it came out last year. I will say that I don't think this has ever been available on vinyl until this week. I know it was released on CD and digitally last year, but when I went through Discogs, I didn't see a vinyl release until this one this week. But this one, it received 7 Latin Grammy Award nominations. I'm not sure if it won any, but received 2 Grammy nominations here in the U.S. also. And I know primarily it's like a dance pop album, but it touches on a lot of other aspects of Latin music also. So it's kind of an interesting release. I hadn't listened to it until I was putting my notes together for the show today, and I streamed a few of the songs, just kind of get a feel of the album so I at least talk about some part of it. But I'll stream it. It's one I probably won't pick up. And then you've also got the new album from Taking Back Sunday coming out this week. This is 152. It's their 8th studio album. It's going to be on bone-colored vinyl. It's going to run you about $24 online. This is a band that, they released the first album in the early 2000s, and it was like 2004 to 2006 when they were like, their height commercially. They blend like alternative with some emo stuff and some punk stuff if you want. Maybe it's like the pop punk side of it. But, they've got some interesting releases. I haven't listened to any of their albums since probably 2006, I think was the last time I listened to them. So, it's one that I'll toss on my list to check out and stream this week. The next one is definitely one I'm looking forward to. It's one I've had on my want list for a long time. It's getting reissued this week. This is the Ataris, Blue Skies, Broken Hearts, Next 12 Exits. First released back in 1999. It was the band's 2nd studio album. This is on blue and white, split vinyl. It's going to run you about $32 online. In my opinion, it's one of the most underrated pop-punk albums of the late 90s. It's just a great album. It's definitely on like it's definitely not anything like what you're going to see from like Rancid. It's more like MXPX, Blink-182 kind of punk rock. It's a great album, though. It's not as great as some of their other albums. I think So Long a Story, I think, is definitely their best album, but it's probably not that far from it. I think St. Demas High School Football Rules is a great track, and it, like I said, $32. It's definitely one I'll grab this week. And they've got another one that's coming out this week that's getting reissued that I thought this was an RSD exclusive when it came out earlier this year. But this is Macho Man Randy Savage, Be a Man. This was released originally back in 2003. It was his debut album. This is on blood orange vinyl. It's going to run you about $40 online. I'm pretty sure when this came out earlier this year for Record Store Day, that it was an RSD exclusive. So it shouldn't have been getting reissued. If it wasn't an exclusive, I mean, you can drop me a comment and let me know. I'm pretty sure it was on the exclusive list. So I don't like that they're doing that, because a lot of people went out there and bought that, thinking it was going to be an exclusive release, and now we're getting reissued. So, and I think it's been reissued actually in between those 2 releases also. So, in my opinion, it's one of the worst rap albums of all time. But it's at least it's one of those albums where it's so bad it's kind of funny and interesting to listen to. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, especially a 80s and 90s wrestling fan, it's Macho Man. It's what you get on this album. I think, like I said, it's not great. But it's definitely one I think it's worth checking out. I think it's available on streaming services also if you want to listen to it. So next release is one that I'm not really sure what it is, but I'm interested in it. But this is Glenn Danzig, Who Killed Marilyn. First released back in 1981. It was a non-album single from Glenn Danzig. And the B-side of it, when it was originally released, was Spook City USA, which is a unreleased Misfits track. At that time, it was unreleased. And both of these tracks were released as part of the Misfits box set in, I think it was 95 when that came out. And when the box set came out, that was the first time Spook City USA had been available outside of the original 7-inch when this came out. If you want an original copy of the 7-inch, it's going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So that's why I'm interested. I'm a big Misfits fan, especially like the Glenn Danzig era of Misfits. But I'm not sure. So this is where the question kind of comes in. I don't know if this is a 12-inch or a 10-inch or a 7-inch or even a picture disc. I've seen the picture disc and a purple variant listed for December, or released in like late December. And then this one is on black vinyl, but it's coming out this week. So that's why I'm like questioning. It's going to run you $35 online. So I'm not sure what format this is in, if it's just those 2 tracks, if there's other stuff included in there. I don't know. It's one I'd love to have a copy of. I've wanted an original copy of it for years. I just could never spend that kind of money on a 7-inch release. So it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely one I want, but I'll wait and see it sitting on shelves until I can actually look at it and see exactly what this is before I decide to grab a copy of it. And then you also got Local H No Fun coming out this week. This is first released back in 2003. It's an EP. It's going to run you $26 online. First time it's ever been available on vinyl. This is a black release. There's 2 different colored variants also. There's a bacon colored, which is a red and white vinyl. And then there's a blue and white vinyl copy also. But both of those were super limited. One was like 400 copies. The other one was 600 copies, I think. And then, like I said, this one's the black one. Should be pretty widely available. Local H is one of those bands where I loved everything the band has ever done that I've listened to. I haven't listened to this EP yet. It's definitely one I'll check out this week. But there's 3 original songs on here, and then there's also 3 cover songs on here. So, like I said, it's one I'm not familiar with. I'm only familiar with like their first maybe 2 or 3 albums. So it's definitely one I got on my list to check out this week. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. I should say, in addition to what I said about that Glenn Danzig release, that those 2 tracks also have the original mixes and new remixes on there also. So that's why I was thinking it's probably a 10-inch release. But like I said, it's not one I'm going to grab this week, but I'll wait to see it roll out, and maybe I'll grab the purple variant of it when it comes out later this year. But as far as like stuff I know I'm going to grab, I've already got 1989 on pre-order. I've already got Chronicles of a Diamond on pre-order. Outside of that, man, I want to stream that new Duran album. I'll stream that Journey album. I'll stream Local H. I don't have the Ataris album on pre-order, but I'll definitely grab a copy of it if it's in my local stores this week. But I don't know, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to picking up. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.